Hi students, welcome to Sreedhar'scce Anantapuramu YouTube channel and welcome to our session, editorial analysis session. So right, we people are very clear that what we do in this session, like we start with a quote of the day, like for the motivation purpose, and one word substitutes, like I am giving you right from yesterday that idiomatic expressions, especially correct uses and incorrect uses. Apart from these phrasal verbs, right now we are in the alphabetical order, so almost we are about to complete. And apart from this editorial vocabulary, which comprises of these phrases as well as phrasal verbs, idiomatic expressions, apart from this tough vocabulary, content vocabulary is given in this right from the editorial. And apart from that, editorial analysis, and the last but not the least, test of the day is discussed with a new model with new shortcuts. Right, let's get to the quote of the day. So what is this? Set a goal that makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning. So actually, a famous person said, a dream is not a dream which you get in your sleep, but a dream is a dream which makes you to come out of that sleep and run for it and work for it. Do you understand what I said? So a dream is not a dream which you get in your sleep. A dream is a dream which wakes you up from that sleep to work for it. And so famous person told, like, set a goal that makes you want to jump out of bed. So what sort of goal you need to have? So which makes you to jump out of bed in the morning, like not in a lazy manner. Like whenever you have that goal in your mind, that goal has to wake you up and make you jump out of the bed. So that means it shall be that strong. That means your goal. Let's get to idiomatic and phrasal expressions. Here phrases, simple phrases which we often do mistakes. We shall be very careful about all these things, because see, a small error, a small mistake, a small ignorance can lead you to lose your marks. So see these examples. Right now today I got 3 phrases. What are these? Flee from. Flee means, I told you already, flee means escape. Flee means escape. Flee related verb forms, most of the people get confused. Fled. Okay, so here, so actually run away or escape. The prisoners managed to flee from the prison. See what sort of difference? Flee of the prison, flee by the prison, flee through the prison. In such cases, so maximum you may go with OFF off, because off means like running off, something like that. But be very careful guys, a little error, like instead of from OFF off, your mind gets convinced, but there you shall be very careful. So here flee from is a phrase which is a fixed one, which you may lose mark with a little negligence. Next, more than, everybody knows this, no need to discuss that, but more than, like he is more responsible than. Actually more and than, they can come together, or they may split like a fragment. So here more responsible than his brother, he is more responsible from his brother. Meaningless, no? That's why. Next, much as also, like it's a regular collocation, it's a regular phrase which we use often. So here the correct usage is much as Z needed John's help, she had to refuse. Much like, small, as and like, most of the students get confused, like as and he is just like me, he is just as me, some sort of confusion. But careful, much follows as. That 2 things are fixed, and remember this. Like idiomatic expressions. After that, phrasal verbs, and we are in O and P in the alphabetical order. So we are about to complete even. So here own up. Own up means like to admit or confess something. Like confession in the sense, like you are completely owned up, like it's your own mistake, it's completely your own. That means the boy owned up. He said he kicked the ball through the window. That means he accepted, he confessed that mistake. Next, pass away. Everybody is pretty familiar with this. He passed away means he died. The old lady passed away peacefully. Pass out. What is this pass out? Pass out means fainting, means to lose consciousness. She passed out when she heard the bad news. So of course passed out out means like again that kind of thing also comes to your mind. Passed out means he completed his studies also, that is also accepted. Pay back means reimburse. So fee reimbursement, now and then we listen this word reimbursement means I'll lend you 20 rupees provided you pay me back before the end of the week. Reimburse means to return. You can get that. Next, today's vocabulary, editorial vocabulary, number of words have been ready here. Sound and fury, it's a phrasal expression. Fury means full of anger or frustration, something like that. Sound and fury means used to refer an action or argument that attracts a lot of attention, especially, but futile. So it's pompous. It's visible, but actually it's a futile means waste or useless. Introspection, actually spection, this kind of words I tell you two more, remember. So introspection, retrospection, introspection. So these two words, intro means internal self-observation. Retrospection, like retrospection means like about our past. So thinking about our past is called as retrospection. Next, virtual meeting. Virtual meeting means online meeting, like so which seems real but not real. So meeting is a very clear thing, a conference or a meeting or summit. Next, orchestrated means orchestra. You listen this word now and then, right? So orchestrated means perfectly organized, perfectly choreographed, especially here in this context, secretively. Tirade means attack or verbal onslaught. Here understand the meaning of this verbal onslaught. Verbal means using words, onslaught means attacking, rant, a long talk of criticism or accusation. Next, lend or give credence to, it's a phrasal expression. Give credence, credibility. Give credence to means to make excuse me, to make something seem correct, to make something opinion seem correct, visible, like very clear, prominent or distinguishable, transparent, openly visible. Intention, you know that intent means aim or purpose or objective is called as intent. Influence, everyone knows this, it's influenced. It is also used in a noun sense, so you can use it in two ways, like verb sense and noun sense also. Here in this context of the editorial, it is used in nouns, verbs sense. That means affected, have an effect on, participate something. Next, shore up, it's a phrasal verb, shored up. Bolster, here remember this word, bolster means support. Bolster also, like you search it in Google, particularly this word bolster means the cushion which you keep in your bed or sofa for support, that is called as bolster. If it is used in verb form, it means supporting, buttress or strengthen or fortify. Fortify means to make something very strengthened, support. So you can remember this fortify with fort means quota means like very strong. So making something strong is fortifying. Like hold means here in this context, like occupy or having a position. Interim, like we listen this in newspapers, interim budget. So what is interim budget? Like provisional, transitional or temporary kind of thing is called as interim. Excuse me. Next, swing, swung, like sway or oscillate, move back and forth. Senile is related to senior people, juvenile is related to junior people. That means you can remember junior, senior, aged, old, elderly, juvenile, young, teenage, underage. Next, gloss over. Gloss means covering up, concealing or covering or hiding. Substance, here in this context, substance means in a significant subject, important matter or content, valid message. Incidentally, by the way, so according to the incident. Vilify, censure or cutting something, like criticizing something, insulting. Signatory, which is a noun, the person who signed an official document or agreement is signatory. Seek, parts of speech, I mean verb forms or sort, which means try or aim, work towards something. Next, deflect. Deflect means divert. Reflect, you know, deflect. Deflected. Opponent means rival, remember this word. Nemesis, a strong enemy is called as nemesis. Contender or opposer also can be used as synonyms. Next, opportunist. Opportunist means like person who is selfish, who makes use of the opportunity for the self purpose, egocentric or self-seeking. Staunch, adjective, like loyal, committed, reliable, honest, dependable, strong, like you can use staunch. Hastily, very quickly, swiftly, rapidly. Next, degenerative, generative, positive, degenerative, negative, deteriorating, weakening. Right. Next set of vocabulary, affliction means negative word, suffering, pain, or giving trouble, or torturing, something like that. Cripple, crippled, you can be used in verb form, right? Impairment or hamper means acting as an obstacle. Impaired means obstacle, weaken or something. Invest in, it's a verb, like grant to or vest in or entrust to something, right, or a power of faith. Next, disingenuous means dishonest or deceitful or double dealing. You can have in these different forms. Next, exercise, exercising power, like it's used in verb form here. What does that mean? Like you are employing something is called as exercising. Next, detest means it's used in verb form, like detested or the verb forms. So attest, this word is pretty familiar. Attest, opposite, in the opposite sense you can have it in detest. Detest means disliking something or disdaining or hating something. Next, in its entirety, it's a phrasal expression. Like you observe these guys, like you are getting phrases, idiomatic expressions, all these in editorial vocabulary. Apart from this, you are getting additional vocabulary in phrasal verbs and idiomatic expressions forms even. Like self-styled, so-called, self-appointed, or self-professed, you can say avowed. Next, selective interest. What does that mean? Interest shown on certain things, particularly selective interest. Magnanimity, and the adjective form for magnanimity is magnanimous, O-U-S. So that means generosity or a big-heartedness, magnanimity. Next, pave the way for, it's also a phrasal expression. What is that? Clear the way for, or to create a way or situation to do something. Next, last. Here last, usually if it is used in adjectives form, right? Adjectives form like last person, last bench, last rank. In that cases you can use it in adjective sense. But if it is used in a verb form, like that is last, lasted, that means it shows a durability of something. So you shall be very careful with that. So next, legacy. Legacy means which is received right from your predecessor, right from the past, like your forefathers or something like that. Next, obduracy, that means stubbornness, like fixed determination, relentlessness, dogged. Here one more new word, you got dogged. Next, bitterness. Bitter is adjective, it's a taste, that means it's used in a negative form. Discontent means like not having satisfaction, that is dissatisfaction. And even resentment also connects with this, right guys? Next, let's get to the editorial of the day. Yes, they are in such a kind of situation that they are unwilling to engage in honest introspection here. Introspection means they are not looking into themselves where the wrong is about their leadership. So here the sound and fury at a 7-hour-long virtual meeting of the Congress Working Committee, that is CWC, on Monday signified a lot. So here the orchestrated tirade means attack, we got it in the vocabulary, by CWC members against party colleagues who raised valid concerns regarding the functioning of the party, lent credence to, here this phrase even we got it, lent credence to a charge of the Congress often faces, that is exists for the Gandhi family. So however, so here, so the credence is related to the charge the Congress often faces is, it is only for Gandhi's family. So whatever the thing happened in this virtual meeting, so it's waste of use which happened on Monday. Next, a letter signed by several senior leaders had demanded an active, full-time, visible leadership. Their intent, that is their intention or something, timing, motivation were questioned by Rahul Gandhi, who continues to influence decision in the party, though he resigned as president last year. So however, though he resigned last year, his influence is there on all the intent, timing and motivation. However, the decisions, decision making, influencing the decisions, all these things are happening right from the last year. So while former Prime Minister also showed up support, that is bolstered up support for Mr. Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, who holds a charge as interim president of the party, another senior leader, A.K. Antony, termed as the letter cruel. Here, so the letter is about what? So here the letter is regarding this leadership which was sent. A.K. Antony termed that particular letter was cruel, another senior leader. Next, swinging means oscillating between the senile and the juvenile. Senile means senior person and juvenile is junior person. Arguments at the CWC appear to be an attempt to gloss over, that means hide or conceal, the substance of the letter, the entire text of which incidentally is not public yet. However, So that letter related context is not at public and vilify its signatories. In seeking to deflect the issue by questioning the character, loyalty of those who raised it, the Congress did exactly what it often accuses its principal opponent. So who is that? The BJP of doing this particular things. Next, in the same way, the signatories to the letter, who are authorized persons to this letter, include opportunists too, like whoever egocentric or self-centered people. Many of them, such as so that names are even given here: Kapil Sibal, Manish Tiwari and Shashi Tharoor have been staunch defenders. Staunch means loyal or stubborn defenders of the strong defenders of the party. According to the context here, staunch means like strong defenders of the party. There was no reason to hastily conclude, like in a hurried way. There is no need, no reason to conclude the things, as many at the CWC did, that the letter was leaked to the media by its senders, not its recipients. So this is pretty clear. So whatever the leak of this letter in the media was by its senders, not by the receivers. Next important point is the degenerative affliction crippling the Congress party is a concern not only for its members but for all who are invested in India's democracy. So this affliction crippling means this degenerative, like a damaging, deteriorating thing whatever happening to Congress party is a concern not only for its members but all the people whoever have that loyalty or whoever have reliance on this India's democracy. The Gandhi family that commands the loyalty of the entire party has a special duty to ensure that this cry for reform within the party is not reduced to a question about itself. So here the thing is, the Gandhi family, which is commanding the loyalty of the entire party, has on particular specific duty here, that is to ensure this cry. That means, so whatever the people, the public and the government wants, this thing has to be reformed within the party, is not has not to be reduced in a question. Next, the Gandhis have expressed their desire to remain active without leading the party. So, however, see, these Gandhis are expressing their desire in another sense. That is, so they wanted to be active without leading the party. Such a role will be seen as a disingenuous scheme to exercise authority without accountability, something that Mr. Gandhi claims to deeply detest. That means, so which he wants to hate. He is fortunate and must be thankful that the Congress party in its entirety still supports him, and even reformists mislabeled rebels by his self-styled loyalists are not questioning his authority. They have only expressed frustration over his selective interests. So everybody has a negative impact, a negative opinion about the thing whatever this Mr. Gandhi is doing. It was Ms. Gandhi's remarkable accommodative skills and magnanimity that paved the way for the creation of the United Progressive Alliance that lasted in government for two full terms between 2004 and 2014. Ms. Gandhi's legacy faces a serious threat not only from her political opponents but also within the household. So the things which are happening, like Ms. Gandhi's remarkable progressive alliance, whatever happened, whichever lasted in government for the way of creation of this UPA, that is United Progressive Alliance, that lasted in the government for two full decades, two terms between 2004 and 2014. But this legacy is facing a serious threat right now, not only right from her political opponents but also within inside the household. So if Mr. Gandhi is unwilling to give up his abdicracy, that means stubbornness, and overcome his bitterness towards colleagues, the responsibility falls on Ms. Gandhi to ensure a transparent election to find a successor along with a new CWC and a parliamentary board. So here, so this Mr. Gandhi, so he has to give up this stubbornness and overcome this bitterness towards his colleagues. Then only, so till then, this responsibility completely falls on Ms. Gandhi, that is Sonia Gandhi, to ensure a transparent election to find a successor to the party as with a new CWC and also a parliamentary board. So however, we can conclude that so Congress is facing a serious threat right now regarding the management within self. So the thing is, it has to have introspection towards itself. Right guys, let's get to test of the day, so which we are going to end it. So actually these words we got recently in the previous editorials. So according to that, so this model was pretty clear, like recently discussed. So we need to find out the parts of speech of that particular word, and we have to find out which statements have their grammatical sense as well as a contextual sense in the statements. Exactly. So contradiction is a pure noun, which means opposite in nature. So where do we have exact sense? See here, the contradiction of federal money, keep it in hold. A contradiction to their previous statements, opposite to their previous statements, keep it in hold. Next, an obvious contradiction to claim, that means opposite. So obviously these two have more clarity when compared to this first statement. So answer is 2 and 3. Next, let's get to the next one, rack. Rack can be used in two ways, that is V1 as well as adjective. Actually rack means ruin or sometimes destructed. Whose life went to 2 plus V1 rack, so accepted. Next, second statement to learn about the rack line and all sorts of found objects. So however, adjective sense, okay. For a sweet and crunchy rack, that means ruin or destructed, can't stay there, like even though it is exactly used in noun sense, which is meaningless. So you can have here snack instead of rack. So rack is a negative word, so that's why answer will be 1 and 2. 1 and 2 can be the best answers. Next statement, lacunae. Lacunae is a noun which means gaps, like which has to be filled. The lacunae of more recently established canopy tree, meaningless. Evident lacunae in the system, gaps in the system. So has urged to fill the gaping legal lacunae, accepted. So answer is 3 and 2, that means 2 and 3. So gap related things are discussed in second and third statements, but first statement does not have such sense, that's why it's eliminated. So answer is 2 and 3. Next, in the same way, ramification. Ramification means output, outcome, result. So actually TION endings are generally considered in noun sense. So see here, according to the ramification of leap seconds related, what do we discuss? Assess the ramification both in terms of potential retaliation, like outcomes, accepted, as the ramification of the order related outcome, accepted. That's why the answer is 2 and 3. And the last but not the least, cripple. Cripple is used in V1 sense, and it means like paralyzed or not able to move their legs or limbs. So here see this, quite cripple, meaningless. Not only cripple, the economy. Here that means wood plus V1. So local economy is not only going to be paralyzed, accepted. The one thing that might get the Harvick, as if he can find the ways 2 plus V1. So answer is 2 and 3. So those two have a clear sense, and quite cripple is meaningless here. That's why 2 and 3 give the exact sense of cripple. So accepted. That's all guys. I hope you enjoyed watching the class. More are yet to come. So kindly subscribe to our channel, share with your friends, and don't forget to like. Thank you. Signing off.